Welcome to our ninth Nexi talk at Money 2020 in Amsterdam. The topic we'll be discussing in this session is blockchain, a technology that has been the interest for everyone in finance, technology, and other similar industries since the inception back in 2008. To find out what opportunities blockchain holds for financial services and network infrastructure providers like Nexi, I welcome my guest, Mattia Ozzello, who is a product manager at Nexi.
Thank you, Krista, for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Mattia, blockchain has been used in many industries, but also governments and organizations in recent years. Tell us, what is its potential?
Yeah, blockchain potential is actually to serve a different type of business. Specifically, it's a new type of customer that it's serving. It's business network. So we are speaking about not only a single actor adopting blockchain, but a whole ecosystem of different companies, corporates, public administration are now jumping into the blockchain revolution. And the way in which they use it is because blockchain is the natural infrastructure that allow them to share their data in a very secure way, in a very independent way, without relying on a single central institution or a single central point of trust, because blockchain is the trust machine. So it's actually a technological layer that helps those participants of business network to verify independently the transactions that are spread across the network. And that is great because you can actually build a new business model out of this business network that are popping up in Europe and all around the world.
But what makes blockchain actually so special? What are the main advantages of the technology and more more traditional technologies?
That's a great question, Christian. Usually critics speaks about blockchain, about a solution in search for a problem. I don't like this definition. I do prefer more to speak about a cognitive bias when you speak about blockchain. I will use the golden hammer analogy. When you have a golden hammer that is a totally new instrument, a totally new tool, there is a high potential of thinking that you can actually use that golden hammer to solve every problem, to fix everything, even if it's not a nail. That's where blockchain is actually sitting right now, because there are a lot of usage, but not always blockchain is the solution. When is blockchain the solution? Is actually when you have different actors participating in a business. Maybe also they are in competition between each other, but they need to share their data, and they need to share following rules that are agreed upon among all the participants of that network. And when you have different actors that have the possibility to write and read the data, and there is a lot of inefficiency in that process due to the fact that there is too much intermediaries, that's where blockchain really fit, because you can remove some intermediaries, giving more power, more decentralization to that participants in a way in which they can reduce cost. And if there is a process in which you have issues with frauds or risk, or you have a problem of trust, yeah, that's where blockchain really fits, and it's more efficient in respect of other technologies, of other application.
And where does Nexi now focus on blockchain technology, and what is the company's approach here?
Yeah, the approach of Nexi in blockchain is really helping our customer. We want to help and support them to adopt this cutting-edge technology by reducing the complexity of it, because it's totally new, it's hard to implement it, but we want to provide them tools, the products that really helps. So our idea is to support them in developing their minimum viable product, their POC, but then with the mission and the idea to really scale to production in a quickly way, in a fast way, in a secure way. But we want to see real-life application, real-world usage of blockchain. That's why we started basically from the infrastructure level, then we built application on top of it, and as well as natural sandbox, technological sandbox that can be used to create new blockchain application.
Would you please give us some more insights into these solutions and their areas of applications, starting with Nexi's blockchain infrastructure?
Yeah, we started from the network infrastructure. So the main issue that the customer may have while they adopt blockchain is really how to run an infrastructure that is so geographically distributed, so that have so many different players. You can imagine that are business network running on blockchain with very large financial institution and very small one. And we needed to find out what is the infrastructure that can support to have all the participants of the ecosystem onboarded in order to guarantee what is called the level playing field. So same rules and same, let's say, service level for everybody out on the infrastructure. That's why we created our infrastructure that is technological agnostic, because it can be on board different blockchain technology. We started from the permissioned ones, so the one that have a permissioning level, so we know who is part of our infrastructure. Only necessary institutions are part of this infrastructure in order to run their own application. That's the infrastructure that is used, for example, in Italy for more than 100 Italian banks in order to reconcile their mutual accounts. This is the project Spunta that is led by ABI Lab, and it's in production with millions of transactions daily processed.
And what are the other solutions we have?
Yeah, we created a complete framework for issuing, for the creation of tokens. So we are jumping into what is called the tokenomics. So tokens are digital assets that are represented on blockchain and can represent anything. They can represent value, let's say money value. They can represent loyalty points. They can represent ownership of something. We created the framework that supports companies, corporates to create their tokens that runs on the infrastructure. This means that this framework not only have the so-called smart contracts, so the exact software that is running on the blockchain, but also the standard application stack. So the dashboard for issuing tokens, the mobile app for end users to exchange their tokens. So we jumped into the, let's say, the application side. And as well with that, we also created a sandbox, as I mentioned before. A sandbox is, let's say, a simple infrastructure already deployed quickly to access it. And what is the purpose? Let business manager or somebody that has an idea and want to test if blockchain is the right hammer for that nail, they can use that sandbox. So they can quickly deploy an application without even knowing what exactly blockchain is or the complexity that is behind the infrastructure. And they can even use the so-called token framework that is onboarded on our sandbox. So they can also have tools, additional tools, in order to see if that's a proper use case that can go from POC, so from, let's say, a testing phase, to a running service. That's our goal, so to support them.
And how do you assess blockchain-based solutions from a security and regulatory perspective?
Yeah, that's a great question, because 2022 and 2023 has been the years in which we will see regulatory coming into regulating this space. We will see the MiCAR, so the marketing crypto asset regulation that is coming by the end of next year. We will see the pilot regime that is a regulatory framework for issuing and managing securities token. And as I was seeing here at Money 2020, there are a lot of solutions to implement anti-money laundering on blockchain, so to easily track what is going on this solution in order to give to regulators tools, technological tools, in order to build what is called now the SupTech. So we've been into the fintech. Now there's also InsurTech, and SupTech is supervisory technology, so tools that are used by supervised entities.
The famous look into the crystal ball. What future do you predict for blockchain technology in medium and long term?
It was amazing to be here at Money 2020 because I met so many experts, so many people that was seeing what is going on. What I invite about blockchain technology is really to bring value to it. So we need to have value that is exchanged on the blockchain. So either they can be, let's say, monetary value, but also the so-called NFT, so the ownership of asset, of digital asset. That's a great thing because actually you can onboard all the different processes, business process into the blockchain, as well as I saw a lot of solution that gives back to people the ownership of their personal data, the ownership of their data that are used in everyday's life. This is called the self-sovereign identity. There are a lot of solutions that brings that on blockchain. That's interesting because if you have user data and economic value on the blockchain, you can build actually anything. And last but not least, and again, it's a hot topic at the moment, is blockchain could be the natural infrastructure for exchanging digital assets in the metaverse. So in a new, let's say, digital space that it's going to be built, in which companies can engage their user base in a different way by providing digital asset, digital experience. Our day life is becoming more digital, and we envisage that one day will become, let's say, phygital, so half physical and half digital, and blockchain can support this kind of view for the future. So I do believe that one day will happen.
Very interesting. Thank you very much, Mattia, for these interesting insights on blockchain and its use in the Nexi group. I think it has once again become very obvious that this technology holds great potential for companies in many different industries and institutions to drive innovation, especially for the financial services sector, including Nexi. And one of the key success factors, I think, for widespread adoption is to reduce complexity of the technology and make it just easier to work with and integrate.
Thank you.
This was our last Nexi talk from Money 2020 in Amsterdam. We enjoyed it very much. We hope you did as well. See you next time. Take care and goodbye.